Good evening and welcome to the Green Room 42. Thank you so much for being here. Put your hands together for the reason you're all here. We are so happy to welcome back to the Green Room, Melissa Errico.
Cheering word. I hear a breeze, a river shine and breeze. It well may be it's followed me across the seas. Then tell me, please. All I want is a room somewhere far away from the cold night air, with one enormous chair. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely? Lots of chocolate for me to eat, lots of coal making lots of heat, warm face, warm hands, warm feet. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely? Oh, so lovely, sitting absolutely still. I would never budge till spring crept over me windowsill. Someone's head resting on my knee, warm and tender as he can be, who takes good care of me. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely, 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 lovely. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels, doorbells and sleigh bells and schnitzel with noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. Wow. Thank you, and good evening. Now, those songs are some of the anthems of the INGENUE, the songs of Sharon in Finian's Rainbow and Maria in The Sound of Music. And I stand here before you tonight, or I sit here, and with the great Tedd Firth at my side. I stand here accused of being a terminal ingenue, maybe the terminal ingenue. And a terminal ingenue is an ingenue who has been an ingenue for so long that it seems that she'll never be cured of the condition. Now, what is an ingenue? I wrote once, I'm a writer, sometimes in the New York Times, sue me, that she is the young lady who might end up with a nice-looking tenor. She has a high, lyric soprano, big eyes, long hair, and a figure that is conventionally attractive, but not wildly attractive. Neither voluptuous nor what you would call sexy. An ingenue is candid and innocent. A little waistline is good, and she certainly isn't a mother yet. Leggy is for the funny or dangerous characters. Now, I played all of those parts in my teens and my 20s and my 30s and my 40s. And here I am tonight. No, don't ask. Still singing. But I want to tell you a story of why I dreamt so passionately to fall into ingenuity, and then how I escaped from it, happily, or at least I made my peace with it. Now, from time to time, I will read from the memoir that I am working on. Now, why MisEducation? Well, an education is what you get when you chase a dream, and a MisEducation is what you get when the dream turns around and chases you. You think that, you are taking charge of Broadway, and then all of a sudden Broadway is taking charge of you. There was a lot more going on under those petticoats than anyone might imagine, but we will get to that. It all began with Cosette. You see, I was discovered as, just as an ingenue should be, in the hallway of a Broadway studio wearing tap shoes and tap shorts. I was 18 and I dropped out of college and I went on the road. I got a pet. It was a bird. And I took that bird backstage in a cage. And I read the novel by Victor Hugo. Cosette's garden, you see, was attached to a convent. This is the first of many nuns that I would play in my quest to be a showgirl. I saw him once, then he was gone. We were like dreamers at night, who meet us in a trance, then part again. Two phantoms in the shadows of the moon. Can people really fall in love so soon? He walked alone. He seemed alone like me. Could he have known that moment was my destiny? I had to run away, and it was like a dream. I saw him once. The dream was true. I saw him once, and once will do. Next, I played Kitty, a Russian ingenue, in a musical version on Broadway of Anna Karenina. And I got the review of my life from the late, well, I hope he's late, John Simon. Errico is a veritable compendium of every affectation that ever infected an ingenue. A compendium. Well, at least I was useful. Now, wait, let's go back just a little bit in time to explain how I ended up in the hallway in those tap shoes. On my 12th birthday, I saw Christine Andreas in the revival of On Your Toes. I'd like to get away, Junior, somewhere alone with you. It could be oh so gay, Junior. You need a laugh or two. A certain place I know, Junior, where funny people can have fun. That's where we two will go, darling, before you can count up 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a small hotel with a wishing well. I wish that we were there. together. There's a bridal suite, one room, bright and neat, complete for us to share. Together, looking through the window, you can see a distant steeple, not a sign of people. Who needs people when the steeple bell says good night, sleep well? We'll thank the small hotel. We'll creep into our little shell, and we will thank the small hotel. Together, see the pretty apple, top of the tree. The higher up, the sweeter it grows. Picking fruit, you've got to be up on your toes. See the pretty penthouse, top of the roof. The higher up, the higher rent goes. Get that dough, don't be a goof. Up on your toes, they climb the clouds to come through with airmail. The dancing crowds look up to some rare mail, like that a stair mail. See the pretty lady, top of the crop. You want to know the way the wind blows? Then, my boy, you better hop up on your toes, up on your toes. They climb the clouds to come through with airmail. The dancing crowds look up to some rare mail, like that a stair mail. I see the pretty lady, top of the crop. You want to know the way the wind blows? Then, my boy, you better hop up on your toes, up on your toes. Seeing that, I began to weep desperately. And I said to my mother, where do these people come from? And how did they get up there? More than anything else in my life, I wanted to be up on that stage, on any stage. I had one reliable ally in my fight, my mother. She tried to find out and help me get up there, and so I went to the boot camp for ingenues, a theater camp in Hancock, New York. It was real Mickey and Judy territory, only my Mickey was Jason Robert Brown. And my mother and I shared that dream together, summer after summer. My mother sang through me, she showed the way. Her feelings rang through me, each part I'd play. Each word, each note, each choice, we somehow shared one voice. She cared passionately about every part I got from the very beginning, and she told me how to act it and sing it. 10 years old, Mom, there's a play for the Brownies. It's International Day, and we are doing Mexico. I'm going to be the cucaracha because Christine was supposed to be the cockroach, and she got nervous, so I'm going to play it. So then I asked my mom, how do you play a cucaracha? She said, inside each cockroach there's a housewife crying, gotcha! And so perpetual panic is the cucaracha's motive. Crushed and dead, my mama said, makes every cockroach mother light a votive. They have moms, I said, even proms, she said. Play that cucaracha, make it flee. Race right to the baseboards, then feel free. Find your inner cockroach approach. Make it real, make them feel what cucarachas feel. My mother moved through me in every role. My mother grooved through me and shaped my soul. Do mothers give you wings, or do they merely pull your strings? A payphone in 1984. Hi, Mom. Camp is great. I don't canoe, I don't do batik, I don't do anything except musicals. I love it. Hi, Mom. I'm Thomas Jefferson's wife. I'll see you in 3 weeks. I'm P.T. Barnum's plain wife. I'll see you in 3 weeks. Love you. Mom, I was cast in an Italian show this time. It's called Nine. It's about this guy and all these women in his life. I play the sexy one. So then I asked my mom, how will I ever play a bimbo? She said, don't sound so grim, you've got the limbs to play a bimbo. So then she sent a black lace bodysuit. I tried to act blasé. And then she sent a nice opaque one too to make it less risque. I wore them both, the see-through and the solid one above the other, so that they could see through me how it would be to be a bimbo with a mother. Play Fellini's bimbo, make her real. Find your inner bimbo, make them feel everything a bimbo feels inside, or the things that bimbo tries to hide. Finally, I got to play a leading lady. And then I asked my mom, how do I play this señorita? This guy named Jason Robert Brown is Che, and I'm Evita. She said, I see you there in Buenos Aires, Evita at her rashest. Clad in black, your hair pulled back, you're gonna be my perfect little fascist. It was just fun. And as I got older, the news I told her just got crazier. Oh, a flamenco dance company, a TV commercial for Tide, or the workshop of Anna Karenina at age 21 getting run over by the train. My mother always had a funny comment or a good idea. I sing my mother still. Her hopes, her hair, her will. My mother sang through me. Was that so wrong? When someone's dreams for you become your song. Do children have a choice? You hear your mother in your voice. And when you hear her, you're a little girl of 10, wishing she'd sing through you again. That's a new song by Peter Mills and Adam Gopnik. Okay, I came out of summer camp, trained up as can be, and after Cosette and Kitty, right away I got a great role as Eliza in the revival of My Fair Lady. Now, it taught me a lot, chiefly that what goes on behind the scenes is often a mirror of what's going on in front of them, and more interesting. The leading man was in love with the director, and the director was in love with me, and then I was in love with the director. And where does that leave the leading man? Well, you see, he decided to play every scene looking directly at my ear. Was I disappointed? A little. Was I disillusioned? Not a bit. Now, every ingenue must face her minotaur, and that is usually Henry Higgins. Eliza is an interesting part because she starts off as an ingenue and then becomes, by the end, an independent woman with this next song, which is famous, many of you will know, because Rex Harrison, the original Higgins, walked off stage in previews every time Julie Andrews sang it because he thought it left him looking ridiculous, having to stand there and listen. Moss Hart, the director, told Alan J. Lerner, the writer, that they would have to wait to have the battle until the last preview. When Hart said, "If you walk off, you will look like an even bigger ass than you already do." And he used a different word. And then they wrote Rex a line to cut her off. Well, there's no one here tonight to cut me off. What a fool I was! What a dominated fool! To think you were the earth and sky! What a fool I was! What an addle-pated fool! What a mutton-headed dolt was I! No, my reverberating friend, you are not the beginning and the end. There'll be spring every year without you. England still will be here without you. There'll be fruit on the tree and a shore by the sea. There'll be crumpets and tea without you. Art and music will thrive without you. Somehow Keats will survive without you. And there still will be rain on that plain down in Spain. Even that will remain without you. I can do without you. You, a dear friend who talk so well. You can go to Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire. They can still rule the land without you. Windsor Castle will stand without you. And without much ado, we can all muddle through without you. Without your pulling it, the tide comes in. Without your twirling it, the earth can spin. Without your pushing them, the clouds roll by. If they can do without you, ducky, so can I. I shall not feel alone without you. I can stand on my own without you. So go back in your shell. I can do bloody well without you. Now, you know real stage people by how many songs they know that never actually got sung on stage. And now this next song was cut from the original production, and it was replaced by I Could Have Danced All Night. It is beautiful, and it's romantic, and I always loved romance. Where are the words I long to hear? And where are the words I long to say? Why can't I open my heart and let them fly? Oh, why are we all so shy? Why are we always afraid to be the one to hold out a hand Now, all this while I was delighting in those roles, there was other music racing through my inner head. Contemporary music and poetic music, and above all, the sounds of jazz. It's around this time that I did a workshop with Randy Newman. Soon I was off to LA, being miserable in a TV series, but I found my salvation. I kept coming and escaping, rather, to the hills, to the company of jazz men, and we made mysterious music together, just for ourselves. They wrote me arrangements of songs by Joni Mitchell and Ricky Lee Jones and Bill Evans and Sondheim, Michel Legrand, with mysterious jazz beats. And I was singing Sondheim in soulful and surprising ways before I was singing him on stage. This is an arrangement by one of my longtime inspirations on this secret island of mine. And I think he's here tonight, Rob Mathis. Nothing's gonna harm you, not while I'm around. Nothing's gonna harm you, no sir, not while I'm around. Demons are prowling everywhere nowadays. I'll send them howling, I don't care. I've got ways. No one's gonna hurt you. No one's gonna dare. Others can desert you, not to worry. Whistle, I'll be there. Demons will charm you with a smile. For a while, but in time, nothing can harm you, not while I'm around. Being close and being clever ain't like being true. Hide a thing from you, like No one's gonna hurt you, no one's gonna dare. Others can desert you, not to worry. Whistle, I'll be there. Demons will charm you with a smile for a while, but in time, nothing can harm you. Nothing can hurt you, not while I'm around, not while I'm around, not while I'm Tedd Firth, Rob Mathis. Oh, there you are, Rob Mathis. Tell me, is love still a popular suggestion or merely an obsolete art? Forgive me for this simple question. I'm unfamiliar with his heart. I'm a stranger here myself. Then I came back to New York and I got the role of a lifetime. Venus in One Touch of Venus. Venus herself. Venus is a paradoxical ingenue. She invented sex, but she doesn't understand why everyone doesn't just jump into bed, which gives her an ingenue's kind of innocence. My boyfriend, the director at that time, said, to play this show, actors out there may appreciate this, to play the show as if I had a hat over one eye. Think about that. And I did. You know the way you feel when there is autumn in the air. That's him. That's him. The way you feel when Antoine has finished with your hair. That's him. That's him. You know the way you feel when you smell bread baking. The way you feel when overnight a tooth stops aching. Wonderful world, wonderful you. That's him. That's him. He is as simple as a swim in summer. Not arty, not actory. He's like a plumber when you need a plumber. He's satisfactory. You know the way you feel when you want to knock on wood. The way you feel when your heart is gone for good. Wonderful world, wonderful you. That's him. You could shuffle him with millions, soldiers and civilians. I'd pick him out. In the darkest caves and hallways, I would know him always, beyond a doubt. Identification comes easily to me, because that's he. The Rhapsody in Blue, that's him, that's him. The way you feel about a hat created just for you, that's him, that's him. You know the way you feel when the fireflies glimmer. The way you feel when overnight your hips grow slimmer. Wonderful world, wonderful you. That's him. That's him. He's like a book directly from the printer. You look at him. He's so commensable. He's comforting as woolens in the winter. He's indispensable. You know the way you feel, that you know you should conceal. The way you feel, that you really shouldn't feel. A wonderful world, wonderful you. That's him. I remember getting a fax. I'm improvising right now. I remember getting a fax in the middle of working on that from one of my friends. I do love funny and smart strange men in the theater. I guess that's all of you. That covers the whole room. But I got a fax one night with, you know the way that caviar just melts upon the tongue. That's him. That's him. Or when you see a painting that's especially well hung. That's him. That's him. You know the way. Oh, you know the simple sob of a solo cello, the satisfying wobble of a plate of Jell-O. Wonderful world, wonderful you. That's him. That's him. He's like the chorus of the Camptown races. He's timeless, indestructible, or like a charge account at Saks or Macy's. He's tax deductible, like getting into bed when it's been freshly made, or tasty as a goose's egg that's just been laid. He's like the special tang of the best Chiantis, or when you're slipping in to freshly laundered panties. Wonderful, wonderful world, wonderful you. That's him. Anyway, wonderful. Okay. This is my idea of a little drunken New York party, except it's on live stream. Hello, everyone out there. I have a few friends who've thrown out their back. Someone is cleaning their house. My kids are watching or not watching. We'll see. We'll find out. And thank you, everyone who is live streaming from your homes. And what a miracle that we've invented this way of expanding the roof on our performing spaces. It's amazing. So after Venus came many, many workshops. Now, a workshop is a kind of undress rehearsal of a musical where the creative team sits behind a desk for 2 weeks muttering about the actors, while the actors desperately try to bring their work to life and mutter about the creative team. It is the exhausting, rewarding, insane way that we create musical theater. There's no more painful way to incubate something, even being pregnant with twins. Here is a song by the Sherman brothers and one of many Cockney roles that I have been offered in the last 30 years. He has a way of talking that puts you at your ease. His words are soft and gentle, like whispers on a breeze. His face is so beguiling, with friendly eyes. Are they kind and wise, or do they disguise deceit and lies? He has a way of smiling that makes me want to grin. I'm feeling safe and cozy, like summer's coming in. He's asking me to trust him, inviting me to stay. When you're not being pushed and shoved, is it something like being loved? I have to say, he has a way. And off comes the vest. I hope you all are noticing all the little, I've put a few little things around here. This is like the INGENUE corner in the Broadway Museum. It's like some of my stuff. Just a little bit of my stuff. There's so much stuff. You guys have no idea. What am I going to do with all my stuff, Ted?
Garage sale?
How are you over there? You're wonderful, you know. Yeah. Ted and I are together now about 10 years, and it's our anniversary, I think, this year. I mean, we're married to other people, of course, but it's nice to see you. So what are we doing next? I have no idea. Oh, workshops. You know, that one was with Tommy Toon. And after doing about 100 workshops, I finally chose to do the revival of the Cole Porter musical, High Society. Now, why do actors mutter about the creative team? Because they get it all wrong. Stephen Sondheim tells us, and told my friend and literary mentor, Adam Gopnik, once, he told him that the first 10 minutes of a musical settle everything. All the rules and the audience's reactions. And in San Francisco, for example, in High Society, we opened the show, curtain up, and you saw me on a pedestal, dressed in a wedding dress, and with ladies sewing my hem at my feet. I'm up on a pedestal and I'm singing, I am loved by the one I love in every way. I am loved, absolutely loved. What a wonderful thing to be able to say. Which showed that my character was horribly stuck up and in need of a public spanking. And it worked perfectly. And it gave the show some place to go. But then, in New York, they changed creative teams, and they had me come out cheerful and relatable, singing a rousing chorus of life's great, life's grand, future all planned, no more clouds in the sky. How am I riding? I'm riding high. My love, so long, Jonah, goodbye. How am I riding? I'm riding high, floating on a starlit ceiling, doting on the cards I'm dealing, gloating because I'm feeling so happy, I'm slap happy. So ring the bells, sing songs. Which meant that the audience didn't know how the hell to feel about me, and there was nowhere to go at all. Do you know how they solved it in the recent London revival? She came out and she sang just that with a big dead bird in her hand. A pheasant that she had shot. And the audience knew that the show would be about her. Well, MisEducation. Was I disappointed? A little. Was I disillusioned? Not a bit. Well, at the time, I tried to fix it the way any smart ingenue should. I took off all my clothes on stage. Well, not all, but many. The night before her wedding, Tracy, my character, ends up jumping naked into a pool with a journalist. We've all been there. It's the wrong time and the wrong place. Though your face is charming, it's the wrong face. It's not his face, but such a charming face that it's all right with me. It's the wrong song in the wrong style. Though your smile is lovely, it's the wrong smile. It's not his smile, but such a charming smile that it's all right with me. You can't know how happy I that we've met, I'm strangely attracted to you. There's someone I'm trying so hard to forget. Don't you want to forget someone too? It's the wrong game with the wrong chips. Though your lips are tempting, they're the wrong lips. They're not his lips, but they're such tempting lips that if some night you're free, dear, it's all right. It's all right with me. Tedd Firth. Okay, a brief digression on ingenuity. After that, in my struggle not to be just the virginal girl in petticoats, I decided to become the naked girl on stage again. Next, in a bathtub in Sunday in the park with George. I told Stephen Sondheim that we could open the color and light sequence that way, being too ingenuous to understand that you didn't just tell Mr. Sondheim how we could do the color and light sequence. But he went for it. A painter's model, completely nude, though in bubbles. Then I did Dracula, and I took my top right off. This was partly to balance Kelly O'Hara going completely naked in that show. The idea of the creative team was that my being partially nude would balance her being entirely nude. And people really said things like that in 2004. And in my scene, it was partly so that the poor actor playing Dracula, this is so true. They did it so that, just catch this, the poor actor playing Dracula could fumble around behind my neck to insert his fangs. You see, I'm here like this, okay? Just forget the memoir. Okay, just get the picture. I'm lying down like this. I'm on the chaise in Transylvania, I guess. And you see, he was about to bite me, but it was like all of a sudden he had fangs, right? So it was like a thing. So he had to go behind my neck, you see, to get the fangs. And so the concept was at that moment, I should open up my blouse. And my nipples were a kind of misdirection for the audience. Now, I tried to explain to the director that Broadway audiences who come to see Dracula weren't distractible, at least not like that. But it was no good. So anyway, I enjoyed it, actually. Anyway, sometimes the path of the ingenue could lead you right to Oz or Paris. I got a pure ingenue lead in Michel Legrand's only Broadway musical Amour, and it changed my life. Because I got to meet, thank you, because I got to meet Michel. Michel and I got along so well that he started writing new songs for me in the evenings before the next morning's rehearsal. Now, we needed a song to explain my character's backstory, and my mother, yes, my mother, told me that women in that period spent all their time reading gossip magazines, and this beautiful song resulted. people's stories, other people's lives, socialites and film stars cheating on their wives, debutantes in ball gowns, young and fancy-free, people on adventures, not me, other people's intrigue, other people's sin. Why does David Niven live with Errol Flynn? Other people's secrets bursting to be told, hotbeds of excitement, mine's cold. Jean Cocteau and Jean Marais have fallen out with Charles Trenet. Frank Sinatra's in Montmartre in a silver Chevrolet. And where is Greta Garbo? And who is Howard Hughes? It's other people's stories and other people's news. You won't find my story in a magazine. A young girl from a convent, all of 17. Then she had a suitor, his beard was turning gray. Imagine her reaction, dismay. Mother said, be grateful, you're not to make a fuss. Love will happen later, that's how it was for us. Mother said, he's wealthy, be glad of what you get. Love will happen later, not yet. Other people's secrets bursting to be known. My mysterious husband has secrets of his own. Me, I have my daydreams until they all come true. Other people's stories will do. It had a life as short as a hummingbird, but oh, it was beautiful. I actually took the poster over to Joe Allen myself, so it would, if you ever see it over there by the bar. Note to producers, when you're doing a show about a man who walks through walls, you should figure out a way to have him walk through the walls before you do the show. But the ingenues kept coming. For 3 years, I went out to the Hollywood Bowl, and I did 3 classic ingenue parts for thousands of people every night. And I got pregnant each time by my husband, Patrick McEnroe, the tennis player. As Maria, I did an ingenue's cartwheel on stage shortly after giving birth to my first daughter, and ended with a pratfall, which I had improvised. And I hadn't thought it through. So it was Eliza again, and Maria, and my favorite, Guinevere. I more than enjoyed working with Jeremy Irons. During notes one day after a matinee, he turned to me and he said, "Oh, darling," because we had had some time off. He said, "Oh, darling, we should have had sex, but I forgot." He was getting older, he says. So, now, I didn't know during Camelot that I was pregnant. I didn't know, and I remember being in rehearsal, and really, I never fall asleep that easily anyway, but I remember being on my queen's bed, the Queen of England's bed. It was quite a pretty bed, as it ought to be. And I remember in the middle of rehearsal just taking the deepest nap of my life. And I had to be woken up in rehearsal, and I had no idea. I was like, why did I fall asleep? It's so weird. So things were changing for the ingenue. And one of the interesting things is my mystical mother came to the Sitzprobe with the orchestra on the Hollywood Hills, and she wasn't, I don't think, even allowed to be there, so my father and her crept up way at the top of the hill, and I was singing, and my mother turned to my father, and my voice sounded different to her, and she turned to my father, and she said, "I think she's pregnant." I had no idea. My mother knew. I loved the role of Guinevere. She starts the show as a virginal maiden, as did I, and ends it as a knowing woman who grows up through the pain of an illicit but inescapable love. This song marks her real education. loved you once in silence, and misery was all I knew, trying so to keep my love from showing, all the while not knowing you loved me too. Yes, loved me in lonesome silence, your heart filled with dark despair, thinking love would flame in you forever, and I'd never, never know the flame was there. Then one day we cast away our secret longing. The raging tide we held inside could hold no more. The silence at last was broken. We flung wide our prison door. Every joyous word of love was spoken, and now there's twice as much grief, twice the strain for us, twice the despair, twice the pain for us, as we had known before. The silence at last was broken. We flung wide our prison door. Every joyous word of love was spoken, and after all has been said, here we are, my love, silent once more, and not far, my love, from where we were Well, I had more kids, twins, and they were growing. How ingenue could I remain with 3 ingenues? And then something good happened. I started to write, first for my own blog, and then in small magazines, and then finally, and amazingly, in the New York Times, about being nude on stage, about the absurdity of women's roles, and about being a perpetual ingenue. An editor at the New York Times asked me what was going on in my life, and I said, really nothing. And he said, I said, nothing except children and being offered roles that I'm too old for. The ingenue police, I told him, are knocking on my door. So I wrote about my life as a terminal ingenue, and I made the discovery that every writer does, that the worst thing in your life one day has the potential to be the wonderful story that you tell the next day. And that if I tell the story, I can then control the vision. That if I tell the story, I'm writing the songs. The Irish rep, and Charlotte Moore, to be specific, who's also here tonight, kept me singing And next came Daisy, another ingenue. But in Alan J. Lerner's increasingly twisted mind, she seemed to be the ingenue who can find your keys and make plants grow. For the first time, I decided to give her a kind of agency or importance. She talks to flowers and she makes them grow, for God's sake. I worked to make her not a victim. She might be sweet, but she's not simple. She makes things grow. Keep going. Hey, buds below, up is where to grow, up with which below can't compare with. Hurry, it's lovely up here. Life down a hole takes an awful toll, what with not a soul there to share with. Hurry, it's lovely up here. Wake up, bestir yourself. It's time that you disinter yourself. You've got a spot to fill, a pot to fill. And what a gift package of shower, sun, and love. You'll be met above everywhere with, fondled and sniffed by millions who drift by. Life here is rosy if you're a posy. Hurry, it's lovely here. Hey, rhododend, courage, little friend, everything will end, rhododandy. Hurry, it's lovely up here. Climb up, geranium, it can't be fun, subterraneum. On the exterior, it's cheerier. RSVP, peonies, pollinate the breeze, make the queen of bees hot as brandy. Come give at least a preview of Easter. Come up and see the hoot we're giving. Come up and see the grounds for living. Come poke your head out, open up and spread out. Hurry, it's lovely here. Now, in Act 2, Daisy discovers that the jerk of a psychiatrist who's been treating her is in love with her past life, not who she is now. I wrote about that too, and as a writer, a woman, or a woman writer, I now know that there's a place where my inner mind and my outer voice want to meet and can meet. A place, maybe it's a sailboat, that I want to live the rest of my life. Have I been disappointed? Sometimes. Have I been disillusioned? Not once. Doors keep opening, just with different keys. And one of the keys is in the audience tonight, the inspiring Marilyn May. Marilyn May is still learning. She says that she has no plan and that she never did. She says, take your vitamins and keep moving. While I was writing about her, Marilyn said to me, do not miss any gigs for me. Well, I did have one show 2 weeks ago, and she asked me who was playing for me. And I told her that I was meeting people that I had never met before. And she lit up, and she said, well, you never know. Well, you do never know. And hurry, it's lovely up here. Please help me welcome to the stage to help me grow my new friends, J.C. Maillard and Thierry Arbino. Hello, gentlemen. Hello. Hello. How are you? Nice to see you. It turns out that being a terminal ingenue may not be curable, but it is treatable. Okay, we have a lot of furniture. How are you over there? Did you have a nice dinner? Did you have a nice dinner? Yeah, good. Did you have the pizza? No, I had pizza. You had cauliflower. Okay. Okay, so we're going to talk about our dinner now. So what are we singing? Oh, I know what we're singing. We're going to start with a song that we sang at Cooper Union last weekend. That was really a really fun show, an amazing opportunity to be a part of. Gloria Steinem was there, and it was about women and empowerment. And this absolutely fabulous band was there, and here we enjoyed making music together. So this is a song that's on my debut album from a long time ago. And this is a song by Joni Mitchell. Once in a while, in a big blue moon, there comes a night like this, like some surrealist invented this 4th of July night ride home. Hula girls and caterpillar tractors in the sand, the ukulele man, the fireworks this 4th of July night ride home. I love the man beside me. We love the open road. No phones till Friday. Far from the overkill, far from the overload. Back at the bar, the band tears down, but out here in the headlight beams, the silver power lines gleam on this 4th of July night ride home. Round the curve and a big dark horse, red taillights on his hide, is keeping right alongside Rev 4 stride 4th of July night ride home. I love the man beside me. We love the open road. No phones till Friday. Far from the undertow, far from the overload. Once in a while, in a big blue moon, there comes a night like this, like some surrealist invented this 4th of July night ride home. Night ride home. Night ride home. Thank you. All right, so now we're kind of off book or whatever. There's no book here because we are, JC and I are going to do a song that we did on the beautiful day last Saturday. We're going to sing a song that's from my noir album, the most recent album that Ted and I cooked up. This is a song that we're not going to do in a sort of noir style per se. That's by a great woman intellectual named Dory Previn, with a beautiful melody by David Raxon. Dory Previn was a great intellectual who really spoke and wrote from the heart. Anything you want to do? Do you want to say something? You know, your glasses don't have another piece, like they don't have a stick. They like broke. Love is wrong. It sings a hopeless song. It longs for bitter disappointment and tears and tears. It calls to all that used to be, and it yearns for someone who was tender but untrue. Love is blind, it's helplessly inclined to bind itself to discontentment and fears. And fears. It dwells on nights that might have been. Love needs nothing more to do. My darling, so I hold each little token. We knew endlessly I unfold each word we've spoken. We two love is mad, it's beautiful but bad. It gladly weeps when a disillusion appears. And so I cling to yesterday while I'm hopelessly in love, while I'm hopelessly in love with we'd like to sing one more song for you from My Fair Lady. I've grown accustomed to his face. He almost makes the day begin. I've grown accustomed to the tune. He whistles night and noon. His smiles, his frowns, his ups, his downs are second nature to me now. Like breathing out and breathing in. I was serenely independent and content before we met. Surely I can always be that way again. And yet I've grown accustomed to his looks, accustomed to his voice, accustomed to his face. I've grown accustomed to his face. He almost makes the day begin. I've gotten used to hear him say good morning every day. His joys and woes, his highs, his lows are second nature to me now. Like breathing out and breathing in. I'm very grateful he's a man and is so easy to forget. Rather like a habit one can always break, and yet I've grown accustomed to the trace of something in the air, accustomed to his face. I've grown accustomed to his face. I've grown accustomed to his face. Thank you. J.C. Maillard. Any people interested in ballet and dance? He's also writing a ballet at the moment. I know we have some people in ballet here. He's an amazing human being. And Thierry Arpino. Oh, I forgot to mention, I mean, seriously, I bumped into John Simon a few years ago, very, very late in his life, and he was a lovely guy. And he said that he always admired me, and he invited me to lunch with his equally lovely wife, and he wanted also tennis tickets from my husband. was it. That's it. The ingenue is done. One more ingenue. Stop worrying where you're going. Move on. If you can know where you're going, you've gone. Just keep moving on. I chose and my world was shaken. So what? The choice may have been mistaken. The choosing was not. You have to move on. Look at what you want, not at where you are, not at what you'll be. Look at all the things you've done for me. Opened up my eyes, taught me how to see, notice every tree, understand the light, concentrate on now, move on, move on. Stop worrying if your vision is new. Let others make that decision. They usually do. You keep moving on. Look at what you've done, then at what you want, not at where you are, what you'll be. Look at all the things you gave to me. Let me give to you something in return. I would be so just keep moving on. Anything you do, let it come from you, then it will be new. Give us more to see. tonight with a lovely Irish song written by two left-wing Jewish intellectuals. How are things in Glockamora? Is that little brook still leaping there? Does it still run down to Donny Cove through Killybegs, Kilkerry and Kildare? How are things in Glockamora? Is that willow tree still weeping there? Does that laddie with the twinkling eye come whistling by? And does he walk away sad and dreamy there, not to see me there? So I ask each weeping willow and each brook along the way, and each lad that comes a-whistling